Hi there, I'm Jeffrey Baumgartner, and for more than a dozen years I've been helping organizations realize more innovative ideas. Now, a question that I'm often asked by middle managers who've been put in charge of innovation initiatives is this. They say, Jeffrey, how can we go about selling our ideas up to the senior managers, the decision makers who can actually implement those ideas? Now, there are a number of approaches you can take, but these are my three favorites. The first is the most conventional. Simply make a prototype of your idea and present it to the manager. She can touch it, she can feel it, she can hold it. The idea becomes real to her. And once it becomes real to her, in her mind she can already start thinking about next steps. It's much more effective than a PowerPoint presentation or a business case because it's real. The second approach is a bit surreptitious, but it's a lot of fun and really effective actually. It's also my favorite. It's simply this. Go ahead, get started on your idea without seeking permission, without getting authorization. You will probably find it's a lot easier to do than you think it might be. Now, if the idea succeeds, of course, everyone's your champion, everyone loves it, and no one fusses too much about the fact that you neglected to get permission to go ahead with the idea. The downside, of course, is if the idea doesn't work out, or if you get caught out doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing before you get any results, you could get into trouble. So there are potential consequences. Be aware of that. Number three involves a bit of psychology. Basically, you call a meeting with the relevant manager. The meeting should be about something that has nothing to do with your idea, but during the meeting, mention the idea in passing. Do not seek approval. Do not go into detail. Just kind of mention your idea, talk about it a bit, and move on to something else. Then, a few days later, when you see the middle manager again, say something to her like, I've been thinking about that idea that we had the other day. And then you see what happened there. It went from being your idea to our idea. You've given partial ownership of the idea to the manager. You've given her a stake in the idea, and that makes the idea much more important to her. Then, a few days later, when you see her again, you say, I've really been thinking a lot about your idea. I think it's got a lot of potential. What are you going to do with it? Now, you basically handed the idea over to her, and you're asking her what she's going to do with it. You're kind of putting her in a position where it's very easy for her to push forward with the idea thinking it's her own idea. And she really will. She's not consciously stealing your idea. You've basically manipulated her memory so she's remembering the idea as her own. The downside to this, of course, is if the idea is implemented and it is successful, she gets the credit for it and not you. So that's the approach that's better to use when you're more enthusiastic about the idea than you are about getting credit as the originator of the idea. So there you have it. 3 ways to sell your ideas up the company. 1, make a prototype. 2, go ahead with the idea without getting permission first. And 3, convince the relevant manager that was her idea in the first place.